Nearly half of all bus routes across England are under threat due to local government funding cuts, according to the LGA. They are calling on the government to urgently address the funding gaps, which they say will leave the most vulnerable residents isolated. Juliet Dunlop is at a Preston bus depot. Juliet, of course, these services are crucial for so many people.
Yes, morning, Kate. That's right. Some 4 million bus journeys were taken in England last year. Many of those journeys made by people who absolutely depend on their local bus service, in particular older people who are entitled to free off-peak travel. Now, this route that we're on this morning, we're going right through the centre of Preston. It eventually ends up at the local hospital, a very busy journey, but it's not under threat. However, different routes in more rural areas here in Lancashire and elsewhere do have a question mark hanging over them, and that's because more than a half of councils in England are subsidising free bus travel, and councils are faced with very difficult decisions, in particular budget cuts. The Local Government Association says that is going to be a big problem.
It's not just elderly and infirm people who rely on the bus as a lifeline. It's the youngsters who can't drive yet and people on reduced incomes. This is part of the quality of life in this whole country, and especially in the rural areas too. So local councils have a role and a responsibility, and we're desperate to keep these lifelines going.
Now, Lancashire Council says it's actually spending more money on bus travel to help ensure important routes continue. And the Department for Transport says councils already have the powers to work with local bus companies. But clearly, those councils, their budgets are being squeezed, and that is likely to have an impact on passengers.